Good evening and welcome to the news at 10. Minister of Foreign and Expatriate Affairs Ayman al-Safadi held talks with a number of his counterparts at the World Economic Forum in Davos. The discussions focused on the latest developments in the Palestinian issue in the light of the American decision to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, as well as the financial pressures faced by the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian Refugees. Talks with the foreign ministers of Switzerland, Finland and Norway also focused on efforts to reach a political solution to the Syrian crisis, ways to strengthen bilateral relations and increasing cooperation in the economic, trade, investment and defense fields. The meetings also discussed possible efforts to break the political impasse in the peace process by launching an effective movement to resolve the Palestinian-Israeli conflict on the basis of the two-state solution that guarantees the establishment of an independent Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital. Jordan's permanent representative to the United Nations, Sima Bahous, said the Palestinian-Israeli conflict is the main threat to stability in the region. In her statement given to the UN Security Council, Bahous reiterated Jordan's assertion that the Palestinian issue is a core issue and key to peace and stability in the Middle East. She went on to say that failure to reach a just, comprehensive and lasting solution based on international legitimacy and the Arab Peace Initiative will contribute significantly to the continuation of tensions and violence in the region. Bahous reaffirmed that Jordan has continued and will continue to shoulder its responsibilities towards occupied Jerusalem and would challenge any attempt to change Jordan's legal and historical status in the Holy City. Negotiators settled in for a long day at UN-mediated peace talks on Syria, with the Syrian opposition still undecided on whether to attend separate peace negotiations next week, hosted by Damascus's close ally, Russia. The two-day peace talks in Vienna that began yesterday are the 9th round of UN-brokered negotiations aimed at ending Syria's nearly 7-year civil war. Russia announced a peace congress in the Black Sea resort town of Sochi after the last meeting in December. Turkish ground forces pushed into northern Syria's Afrin province as Ankara stepped up artillery attacks on Kurdish militia. The Syrian Kurdish YPG, supported by the United States but seen as a terrorist organization by Turkey, said it had repulsed the Turks and their rebel allies after fierce clashes. The fighting marks the second day of what the Turkish government has called Operation Olive Branch. Earlier today, Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan said Turkish forces would sweep Kurdish fighters from the Syrian border and could push all the way east to the frontier with Iraq. NASA launched a mission to study the so-called border area where Earth's atmosphere meets space from French Guiana. The project is known as the GOLD mission, which is an acronym for the Global Scale Observations of the Limb and Disk. GOLD is expected to study the Earth's upper atmosphere, or the so-called edge of space, where climates form below and above meet. A family-run shoe shop in the small city near the Bavarian capital of Munich doesn't attract much attention on first glance. But what the owners produce in their workshop is far from underrated. The two brothers who run the shop make custom-made shoes made from fish leather. The shoes have a hefty price of 1,000 euros a pair, but not only for the material it is made from, but also for the ample preparation and complex craftsmanship needed to produce them. It takes the brothers 3 to 7 days to produce one pair of these one-of-a-kind shoes, with only 45 pair leaving their workshop every year. Brawls broke out in a chain of French supermarkets as shoppers fought over cut-price tubs of Nutella chocolate spread. The supermarket chain cut the price of a 950-gram jar of Nutella to 1.41 euros from the usual 4.7 euros. But shops were confronted with outbursts of violence between customers fighting to get their hands on the product. The Ferrero company, Nutella's producer, distanced itself from the sticky situation. North Korean and South Korean women's ice hockey players trained together to prepare for the upcoming Pyeongchang Winter Olympics as a joint team. 12 players would be added to the existing South Korean women's squad of 23, with at least 3 North Korean players to be selected for each match. Many South Koreans welcomed the North's participation, despite worry over its fairness to their players. And finally, more cloud and rainy conditions for tonight, with snowfall forecast in areas located 900 meters above sea level. Tomorrow, scattered showers can be expected, namely in the western parts of the kingdom, with frost formation in the late evening hours in the hilly areas and the Badia regions. Temperatures in the capital Amman will reach a high of 11 degrees, dropping down to 6 at night. The Gulf of Aqaba should expect fair conditions with a high of 18 and a low of 6. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news. I'm Nancy Khair. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.